Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? And today, this is the return of the Meh Enthusiast, Sean, coming back on
Hello,
the podcast.
good to be back. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Been quite a while, obviously. I think the last one was like a brick flick in 2021. So the couple of years have just gone by, to be fair, pretty quick. But I guess the older you get, the sort time sort of just flies really, really quick. Especially recently, for me personally, time has just flown by. I don't know if the years have been quick for you, obviously with your situation, or if they've gone by slowly. Um, just the general few years went with you dealing, what you've been dealing with the ME.
Yeah, it just feels like it's all been one quick blur, kind of. And then when you look back at like how much has actually happened within the time, it's like how has that much time actually passed? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's trippy. Like I guess when you think about all the days individually that you're doing things and you're doing whatever you're doing. When you think about those days individually, it's a really long time. But when you're actually in the moment and they've all passed it, you know, it can just feel like a blur. I mean, with what I've been doing in recent months, I managed to get through my apprenticeship and get a full time proper contract at the place that I'm working at, and
Oh,
doing
fair
six.
play.
Pardon.
Oh, just fair play. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. But yeah, um, we work 6 days on, 3 days off, and time flies by insanely quick doing those shifts. Like it feels like a grind and a graft on the sixth day, especially if you put some overtime in. But like your working week is like 9 days, you know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty trippy, really. Like this year has flown by the quickest ever. Like every other year, like the older I've got, the years have flown quicker. But how 2022 flowed, working Monday to Friday and then having weekends off, and then 2023 doing 6 on, 3 off. It's it's flown by probably the quickest ever. It's probably flown by the quickest my life has ever flown by. It's pretty trippy. In a sense, I like it because it's like my days off come really quick. But I guess you just want to live in the moment and do things that you want to do, and still do things that you enjoy doing. I mean, with the 3 days off, it gives me time. Not these specific 3 days off, but it gives me time to do stuff I want to do creatively, like edit a video or doing a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But out of interest, have you managed to do much creatively with your time over the past few years? I know you posted a few videos here and there, but not just videos, like stuff in general. You managed to do anything creatively?
I've I guess I've been kind of more recently listening or getting into different kinds of discovering different genres of music that I wouldn't normally have found interesting, but I feel like I'm just kind of opening up to them. But also just kind of building Lego uh a lot. Um I have a lot of unbuilt sets still there. But I'm mainly working through the Star Wars helmet sets at the moment. And then I was able to do a few animation bits here and there, like the Kermit video and the animation test as well. Um, the Kermit video was a lot easier because it was just like 3 different loop animations, and
Mm.
then just had to sync it up to the audio. So I knew it would be an easy kind of undertaking from the start. So luckily, my sister Lorna built the set, and then I was just good to go from there. So it was really kind of not too much work, which was good for especially because of the energy levels and everything. But yeah, I suppose the shorter clip, funnily enough, took like a lot longer to do because it was my first time trying mouth animations. And I guess for those who wouldn't know what I'm talking about, I was doing made a clip of basically my minifigure lip with like a mouth animation lip syncing to what I was saying as like just I might use it for like podcast intros in the future, but
Hmm.
that was kind of the plan. But then also just to see um, what doing mouth animations would be like as well. So that was kind of fun too. Just I guess it took me so long because I got stuck on one part in particular, which was removing all the mouths in every frame. Because in the tutorial I was watching by On Beat Man, he made it seem pretty easy with like After Effects, but I'm a bit of a noob with when it comes to After Effects, so um, I couldn't really figure out how to remove the mouths seamlessly. So I ended up after like a good few hours of trying to get it right, just going into Photoshop and like removing them frame by frame, um, and then putting those images back into Dragon Frame and then exporting it again, and then putting the mouths on top after.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually going to ask if the mouth animation was from On Beat Man's Patreon, because I know with his Patreon he's got like mouth animations that you get for free. But if he's done a tutorial in After Effects, then that's also very cool that he's made the effort to do that and show people exactly how he does it. But obviously, it's going to be quite a challenge when you actually animating an actual physical mouth onto rather than just like, because I know Forest Fire, he had mouths years ago and still now, but it's obviously just a black hole and it moves.
Yeah, yeah, I got it from his Patreon. Yeah, it was
Oh, nice.
yeah, I saw his video on it and I just thought like I have some time on my hands. Might as well see if I can give this a try because it's all like on my laptop anyway. So yeah, so once I had the animation bit done, which didn't take too long, I just popped onto the computer and then um yeah, I when I signed up for the Patreon, I got access to like his all his presets and everything, so that's cool. Um, and I think um, yeah, that there were none really that I could find that were like free, that were
That's
decent
a shame.
looking, like Lego for Lego figures in particular. Like I feel like it would have looked a bit weird if I got like a cartoon character's mouth and stuck it
Yeah.
on, but yeah, yeah.
But I was just going to say I got that wrong a few minutes ago. That was I meant to say only like Forest's old videos were just a black mouth. Obviously, is for years it's been an actual physical mouth, animated mouth, which looks very. But actually, I think it is the same as On Beat Man's one. I think he must use. I think he does use On Beat Man's one. Because if you look at his animation, it looks very similar.
Yeah,
Um,
I think a while back on his Just for Clicks podcast, he talked about um, how he uses the presets himself and
mhm.
was kind of recommending it as well. But yeah, I just remembered that the day that I did the mouth animations, a podcast, L- LOTW Studios' podcast, The World of Brick Films, had a new episode come out, and they were talking about mouth animations, and then it just kind of got me thinking, like, even if it is the black bar mouth animations, it would bring my stuff up a little bit if I was to
Mm.
add something. So that's yeah, that's what I think made me want to give it a go in the first place. But then yeah, the on Beatman stuff I remembered was there before because of seeing his video a while back and thinking like, oh, one day I might try that. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Fair dues. I was going to say, talking of Forest Fire 101, though, I don't know if you was in my live stream when I gave my thoughts and feelings on him basically saying once he's got the Red Hood jazz done, he's going to just do 2D animations. And I think I've talked to you about it in private. But what's your overall take on him basically saying, I'm going to focus on 2D cartoons once I've got the Red Hood done? What do you think?
yeah, I think it's fair enough. I mean, he's done a lot for the brick filming scene and done a lot in the brick filming scene. And he's also saying it's not like a viable like financial path for him, so that's fair enough, you know. Like I think as well having the choice to be able to break out of whatever kind of content bubble you're in is important so that you can just focus on what you want to do creatively and not worry about what other people will perceive it as once you do it a change. And I suppose if it's still an animation, it's not as drastic as like going from brick filming to gaming or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's also cool that he announced it in the first place too, because I feel like a lot of brick filmers kind of like much like myself just kind of disappear for
Hmm.
a while and then with an explanation and then come back every once in a while. Yeah,
It's a bit like an example that would be obviously Jay Aubrey. He just sort of stopped making brick films. But if you look at his, other channel, his main channel, that has got him quite a bit of a success. It's him just talking about drama, and they are very well edited videos, and he makes some great points. I don't think he's not, to be honest, with what he does. I don't find it like next level. Like what him and the right opinion do, it's like you sort of have to. I'm not trying to sound like an idiot, or I'm not being mean to their content or anything, but you sort of have to have the time, the free time to sit down and watch these drama videos, which I don't have that. I don't have the luxury of having all that time. However, if you do have the time to sit down and watch his deep dives on these very very famous people, and where the fame has gone to their head, or they've been involved in some sort of drama, or he's critiquing aspects about them or what they've done. Yeah, that they are interesting, but I personally prefer people like Sensitive Society. I respect the effort that like the Right Opinion and Jay Aubrey put into their drama videos, but like Sensitive Society, it's like you go onto his video, it's where you go onto his channel. A lot of the videos are like 5 to 10 minutes. You have the time to sit there and watch them, and he gives you everything you sort of need with the time that's that he with his the duration of the videos. But objectively, yeah, like Jabri and Right Opinion, they are some of the best drama discussers, drama analysts on YouTube, in my opinion. Like the editing's amazing, and I know they have editors and stuff, but like it's still amazing editing, and they make great points. The writing's great, and they pick interesting people to talk about. But I personally prefer people like Sensitive Society because you just get straight to the point and you just know what you want to know, rather than like Logan Paul pooed on a stick 7 years ago and Jake Paul ran around screaming in this video. It's like it's cool, but like I just don't have the time to sit there and watch it.
yeah, I get you. Yeah, I think being concise in commentary is pretty important too, because viewer retention and stuff being kind of more and more hard to more and more difficult to maintain. It's good to keep things concise.
Definitely. Yeah, because things like I know obviously I made this point quite a bit before on the channel, but things like TikTok, man, like it's just making people's attention spans shorter, So
Yeah,
to sit there and watch an hour-long video. I mean, actually, I tell a lot. I do watch some long videos sometimes, but it's usually by the Act Man or Shay Thriller. So I guess I do technically have the time, but I'd rather listen to the Act Man talk about a game. Or actually, yeah, the way Ackman deals with drama is brilliant. His act attorney videos, yeah, I just prefer that sort of thing rather than analysing something that a person's done over years of their career. But obviously, YouTube, it's all. If you ask someone who's the best YouTubers, in reality, it's who's your favourite YouTubers usually. Because the thing is, like with YouTube, there's so much stuff on there, man. How do you decide what's objectively good and what's the best? Is it success? Is it the effort that goes into the content? Is it the editing? Is it what they're talking about? Is it how they articulate themselves? So it's very subjective. For
yeah,
me, it comes down to how long they've been around. If I had to decide what objectively is the best, like how long they've been around, how much effort goes into their videos, what sort of videos they do, and how consistent they are. So I think like people like Critical Mr. Beast, Shay Frillis, even the Atman to a degree. Atman actually edits his own videos. he doesn't actually pay editors to do stuff for him, and I can tell that he edits his own videos because there's no drastic change. He's himself has said it, and obviously when people do have editors, you can sort of tell. Because let's be real, if videos are getting spammed, there's nothing wrong with having an editor. But when videos are being spammed out, you can't imagine like KSI sitting there on Final Cut or Adobe Premiere, moving everything around,
Yeah.
keyframing. Like the man's like a rapper, an actor, a bloody boxer 1 minute, then back to being a YouTuber. Then it's like he don't have the time to sit there keyframing and bloody getting all the footage together.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think a good example of like seeing kind of the disconnect between like an editor and versus like the content creator editing their own stuff is I don't know if you watch PewDiePie videos, but or PewDiePie's videos, but he I think a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago, he started doing vlogs as opposed to like his commentary type stuff. Well, I think he does some commentary still, but I think he was saying it's just him and his wife that edit the videos, as far as I'm aware. So it's a lot more kind of personal to him, I guess. And it
Yeah, I
comes,
mean that's wholesome 100 right there. That's really wholesome.
yeah, and it comes through then too with content because you can tell like the specific shots. Because also when you're shooting a video, um, you'd also think like, oh, I can fix this in the edit in this specific way to have it look how I want it to look. But then if you kind of try and explain that to an external editor person, they might not see the same kind of vision that you have, and things could be a bit turn out differently to how you originally planned. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on what sort of content you're doing as well. Like, if you were just talking to a camera, it's kind of okay to hire an editor. But imagine you've done like a big analysis on like a game or a film, and you put so much heart and soul into it. I sort of think it's best for like the person. Like, if you're making an Actman type video, it's best for the person themselves to edit it. But if you just I don't know, like I'm trying to think. Like the GTA retrospective. I can't remember the dude's name. I'm going to get the video up now because it is the GTA retrospective. There we go. Um, it's a 9 hour video. So obviously you can't sit there and edit a 9 hour video. That'd be
yeah,
it's gonna take years. I mean,
yeah, like
who
it's
knows? I mean,
yeah,
maybe Munt Chunk did sit there and edit all because there's no mad edits, there's no keyframes or opacity fades, anything like that. It's all just footage from the game. But if it's just footage from
yeah,
the game type stuff that you do, then I guess jobs are good. And
yeah, and it's like I also like I'm fine if people do have editors. I feel like for like more personal projects like filmmaking or something, it would if it's like a creative endeavor, it comes through more when it's just the individual kind of
yeah,
editing it themselves.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, as you can see here, it's all just game footage pretty much. There ain't really. Oh, I watched a fair bit of the video. I skip bits and pieces because I don't know anything about the first few GTA games. I know a bit about Vice City. Don't know much about San Andreas, but it's quite iconic. I mostly just watched the GTA 4 section. But yeah, talking of big analyses, if you was going to do one video, like if you was going to pick like a game to do a big analysis on, what would you pick? Like, let's say an hour-long video.
Oh yeah, I've actually been thinking about this recently, but I was hoping to like start a channel where I do commentary type stuff, and I was thinking the first game I'd probably do would be Spider-Man for the PS4, just because I've played it so many times.
Mm,
um, I think it's like the perfect Spider-Man game. So yeah, I'd probably go with that. I'd say.
fair dues. Do you reckon you'll actually do that as a video then, as you've played it quite a lot?
Yeah, probably one day. Whenever I have kind of more like time to just focus on that one project, because I
Mm.
feel like when I start projects, I feel like I can't relax until they're finished. So I start one thing and then I just have to like tunnel through it until it's done. So if I do start it, I feel like I'm just gonna keep going at it until it's finished. So if it's a long kind of video essay type thing, and it takes a long time, then it'll probably consume a lot of my time when I do get started on it. So yeah, just picking the right time to do it, I guess. Um, yeah.
That's fair enough, man. What about if you did like if you had to choose like a film and a TV show to do a big analysis on?
Um, I'd probably talk about the Marvel movies a fair bit. Um, I recently watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which was
That was a
pretty
banger.
good. So just kind of talk about maybe the MCU, or I also like the Back to the Future movies a lot. So probably just movies that I enjoy really.
Yeah, fair dues. I mean, Guardians 3 was an absolute banger. I absolutely love that one, bro. And that
Yeah,
the bit where he showed up, like he showed up to his granddad's shack, and there was pictures of him as a kid and his mom. Honestly, that bit really, I was holding it together. I was like, oh,
yeah,
I'm not really that sad at this. Like, it's quite hard, it's quite tear jerking, but I'm fine. It's whatever. But then when I saw all the pictures and he sees his granddad, I shed a few tears. Honestly, that was just bravo stuff, man. Because it's like all these years, it's the context behind it as well. It's like all these years, Star Lord's been like, well, my granddad just shoved me away and said, what are you doing straight after my mom died of cancer? I'm not going to go back to him. Then I got abducted by aliens. Why would I go back to him? But it was nice that his granddad deep down did care about him. And I'm not trying to, get too deep or anything. We, if you've, Peter as like a 8-year old, 9-year old losing his mom, and then that's horrendous for a kid to have to deal with. But I think a dad losing a son or daughter, or a mom losing a son or daughter, it's probably even worse because that's like your kid that you held as a baby and stuff, and watch grow up, and they're dying
yeah,
before you. It's just like so and obviously I'm not trying to stereotype, but old dudes, dudes in their 50s and 60s, they don't usually. I think a fair few dudes in general, they don't like to sort of deal with their stuff head on. They just sort of like to just sort of put a not every single guy, but a lot of dudes just like to put a stern face on and sort of just not show any sort of humanity, which people can deal with stuff how they want to deal with stuff. But I guess anyone out there who's watching this who is sort of trying to repress things, at the end of the day, you're going to have to deal with that stuff one day. No one can run forever. Chris Pratt, I mean, why am I saying Chris Pratt? Peter Quill couldn't run from, wanting to see his granddad forever. He went back and saw him. So you can't run from stuff forever. You've got to face it head on eventually.
yeah, for sure. And I think as well, by people doing that, and like it kind of reinforces other people feeling the need to do that, you know? So it's kind of like a cycle that of like this kind of unspoken social etiquette of like don't show emotion, you know?
Yeah. I think it sort of depends what environment you're around, and like how you've been raised and stuff, or like what things are like. I mean, in when I was in school, like no, I think even if ladies got upset, you'd sort people would be like, oh, why is this person getting upset for, or whatever. I think nowadays people, it depends what you go through. I think if people are getting upset for genuine reasons, I think people will be a bit more like empathetic and somewhat sympathetic, but they're not going to. People sort of like switch off because I guess a lot of people might not be emotionally equipped to deal with someone really, really being down and fed up. But I feel like a lot of people, when they're having a bad day or they're fed up, people just want to be told that their struggles are sort of, I don't know, that actually are somewhat hard. Like, oh, this stressful thing is somewhat hard. Like this geezer I hung around with years ago, he asked me, "Oh, how's work going when I used to work in a warehouse. And I said, oh, yeah. No, he said, how's the new job going? I said, yeah, it's all right. I've got some blisters on my feet and I have to do like 20 odd thousand steps a day. So it's physically taxing, but mentally, I guess it's not too stressful. And he just said, well, your job sounds like fun. My job. And then he just waffled on about his job for ages. And his job, right, was just taking pictures of toys and uploading them to eBay. That's genuinely all his job was. And
Oh,
he's,
wow.
and like, if he was a paramedic or a police officer, you'd have more right to say that. But imagine if I'd been talking about something serious and that geezer had just been saying, oh, well, your life's easy, my life's hard. 1 out of 10. Then why bloody ask in the first place? It's just, that's another thing with some people as well, man. Just everyone tries to make out like their struggles are worse when, you know, you should sort of try and acknowledge that someone's struggle is valid, because the reason why people, like, I do look at some people and think, why are you getting bothered over that stuff? But it's the standard that they've sort of, their expectations are that life is going to go all right. And when one little setback happens, it might bother them more than someone who's had like to deal with a load of bad stuff happening, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I don't know, like obviously I've got some physical issues, but you know, it doesn't, I can still go to the gym and do stuff and get around and go on beanos and walk to the pub and stuff without getting tired. Obviously, it doesn't compare to like what you're going through with ME, and then with you, there could be someone out there who's got worse ME, you know, or like
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
some old person who's like bedbound, and if they try and do stuff, it's absolute agony, and they've got to just stay in their bed all the time, you know. So it's obviously an old person; they've lived their life, hopefully, and done what they wanted to do. But there's just levels to things, and I feel like in this day and age, I don't know, it's good that people do talk about stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of people just wanting to be the main character of their story and be like, oh, my struggle's the worst, and I've got the biggest triumph ever. When in reality, man, everyone's on, you know, on the planet at the end of the day, and you know, everyone's got their own struggles, and a lot of people's stuff is valid. It just depends how you respond to it. If you're like someone who's like, I don't know, you didn't get a job that you wanted, and you're acting like that's as bad as kids starving in Syria or people getting bombed and stuff, then that's ridiculous. But if you were just saying, oh, I'm pretty pissed off and sad about this, then that's completely fine, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, like, yeah, I feel like it does come back to that thing of like everybody has different life experiences and like different thresholds for pain and stuff like that and what they can tolerate. And just like if someone's like never really had like a traumatic experience or anything, and then they have like some kind of, I don't know, something minor, like not too hard for like someone who's might have been through something a lot worse, it still might feel quite shocking and hard to deal with for the person who's had everything easy up until that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it's people's expectations, as I say, like it's for things to go good and swimmingly. And if you're used to things kind of going wrong or not going your way, you can sort of adapt. And when something inconvenient does happen, you can sort of adapt to it and try and make the best out of a bad situation. But there's some people, as I say, who, I do try and show sympathy and empathy for certain people, even if the things that they're going on about are not worth getting annoyed about. Like my one mate, when we went somewhere, the trains got cancelled, but we managed to hop on this one train to a different station. And he was getting stressed about me not ordering the Uber while we were on the train. I said, "No, I'm going to order it while we're off, bro." And he was like, "Well, I get stressed about this sort of stuff." And to be fair, that specific dude has had some big adversities, but he's had a he's basically been living the life of Riley since 2020 in a certain sense. But yeah, so he doesn't have to get up and graft like a madman every day. So he shouldn't really be getting stressed over a taxi, because basically the reason why I didn't want to order an Uber before I got to a certain station was because there's been times in the past where Uber, basically the longest I'd ever had to wait for an Uber is 4 minutes. So I didn't want to be in a situation where the train breaks down and then I wasted 30 quid, you know, because it was,
Yeah.
if he wanted to do it with his money on his phone, I think fair play. I wouldn't stop him. He could order the Uber an hour before and miss the Uber and waste the money if he wants. This is money. But even though we were splitting it 3 ways, it's like when it's my money, I'm going to do what I want. You know, it's my £30, which could go to waste if the train breaks down. You know, it's not this person's £30 or the other person's £30. It's mine. So that's why I'm going to do what I want with that £30. You know.
Yeah, and it might also like put out or inconvenience, I guess, the Uber driver as well. Like if they might be on their way to the station and then have to go somewhere else or something, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, sadly, the Uber did actually, because we went basically we went to a city and stuff. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know why I'm not saying where it is because it's on my Instagram. It's not like it's near where I live or anything, but yeah, it's not like I'm right round the corner from that. I'll say Worcester basically. So it's like I'm not right round the corner from Worcester, so it's not doxing myself or anything. It's not like I can walk out my house and Worcester City's there and I'm like, well, you know. But yeah, anyway, so like we was yeah, like the thing is, it did take 12 minutes, but obviously I guess it makes sense. But if every single other time I've ordered an Uber, the most usually it takes 1 to 4 minutes for an Uber to get to me. Well, actually, no, usually 2 to 4 minutes, sometimes 5. Why would I want to chance it while I'm on the train? You know, so yeah. But the point is, it's him. I feel like people who don't work but could work, they get stressed over like very little stuff quite easily because they're not having that stress. When there's people who obviously physically can't work, they probably got a higher stress threshold to deal with stuff because if you actually can't get out there and work, there's probably something either mentally really going wrong or you've got mad responsibilities and people to, you know, like people who you have to look after or like pardon me, or like, you know, you've got physical problems yourself. But like this dude, he could work if he wants to, but he's just chose pretty much to. I mean, he's told me and a few others that he's got a job, which is cool, but I'm not sure if he has or not.
All right, yeah.
But yeah, the thing is, like, if you're living that life of Riley where you're not doing anything, I guess the little things that. I mean, I could care less if an Uber takes ages as long as I can get home, you know. But,
Yeah.
other people, I think he had to get home, the dude, to like give his dad a present, but it wasn't his dad's birthday. He just wanted to treat his dad, which is pretty cool. But if it's not, the thing is, like, your parents would understand if you're a bit late. He never ended up being late anyway. We got to the train station we needed to get to by Uber, and then he said, "I've got to go, guys," and ran off basically. So after the Uber, so there you go. It was just like a bit of an edgy meme. But yeah, I've gone on a massive tangent. But yeah, I guess as you say, it's down to thresholds and what people have had to deal with and endure.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I did want to. Actually, I'd like to watch some of your latest videos. First, like not the podcast, but like the brick films.
Oh yeah.
So I'll just get them up. So obviously we've got the. This is the background from the Kermit video, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same one, yeah.
But yeah, so you got obviously this going on. You got the. Is this a custom one or is this
Yeah,
from a Lego set? This body.
I got it from the minifigs.me website where you can like make your own minifigures,
Oh,
and
okay.
I never actually like fully showcased it on the channel yet, but it does have like the letters NBB printed on the back as well, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Because you can get like personalized minifigures and stuff. So when I was getting it, I thought like might as well add that in there. And then I just never really showcased it in any videos. But yeah, so it is quite a detailed minifigure, but I guess I don't really show it much. But yeah, this set I just thought I'd reuse because it was already built and it was so detailed that I thought, you know, it would look quite good. So
Yeah,
just went with that.
it's a good set to be fair.
Hello there. Yeah, my name is the Meh Enthusiast, and you're listening to the Nothing But Bricks podcast. Hello there.
Yeah.
My name is the Meh Enthusiast.
Yeah, I think the mouth animations are really good. To be fair, I didn't pay much attention to like with brick films, obviously the mouth animations, it's sort of, if you got good mouth animations, it's seamless. So I guess that's probably why I didn't notice how
We're
good it was.
listening to the.
I bet this was a ball ache, like putting you figure putting the mic by his face and then
Nothing
having to animate like half the mouth.
but well, yeah, I guess I think for the tutorial, it's kind of like you animate the mouth first to fit the like audio, and then you kind of overlay it in After Effects once the mouth is like removed from the figure, like the previous mouth basically, and then so I had to kind of mask over where the microphone was. So but yeah, it is a bit tedious, I guess, when the face gets obscured by something, because then you have to mask over it.
Yeah, that makes sense, to be fair. But yeah, that was good cheek animation.
Hello there.
Honestly, man, I know I've mentioned it before, but I would love to. It'd be pretty cool if you did another Christmas special and I got to play Santa again, because that was just utter bants, that voice acting role was.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun, yeah.
You know what has to happen now, kiddo.
Hey.
I remember this being on the Club Brick go towards, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
really suspect. Because those guys, everyone was like, "What the hell?" When he was like, "You know what has to happen now, kiddo." It was very suspect from Santa.
You know what has to happen now.
Yeah, I
kiddo.
probably could have
Hey, I'm not
done
a
better
kid.
to
I'm 14.
maybe
Now you will die
write it a bit
for your
clearer,
actions.
I guess. But
If
like
you were able
more so that he's there to like kill him because he's been seen, as opposed to what other things people might have been thinking.
Maybe you could have said, "You've seen me. You know what has to happen now, kiddo."
Yeah, something like that. I feel like would have been better.
I mean, it's very funny. It's quite funny, but
you know what has to happen now, kiddo.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not a kid. I'm 14. Now you will die for your actions.
If you were
yeah,
able to
that line that I
read
put in,
only-
the "I'm not a kid, I'm 14," I thought was kind of funny because, like a lot of people who are 14, like I myself, when I was that age, would say like, "I'm not a kid. Don't call me a kid," you know,
Yeah.
like. But realistically, you are still a child, so
Definitely.
It would be
Yeah.
a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, this fight was very satisfying with the sound effects.
Oh, thanks.
Santa's packing with weapons, though. I mean, bloody a samurai sword. What a legend. To be fair, so is the kid having a pitchfork, a golden pitchfork.
Oh yeah, that's Aquaman's trident.
Damn. Both guys are packing then. Fair play to them.
Ho, ho, ho.
But then Santa actually is packing by bringing a gun to the fight.
Yeah.
Santa probably thought, "Bro, I can't beat this kid. Let's just end this fight here."
Ho, ho, ho.
Was that a brick arm set then? Like a brick arms gun?
I think it's Eclipse Graphics. I don't think that it's spelled like graphics. I think it's like GRAFX. But
Okay.
they make like Lego guns and stuff.
Oh, nice. Brick arms guns, man. I remember back in the day, I was looking at loads of them online, like when I was like 12, 13, 14. I was just so, obviously I wasn't that, like I was no good at brick filming back then. And I'm not really the best now, apart from like with the voice acting stuff. But yeah, I was thinking, I can get some weapons for a brick film. And some of them were so cool, man. They even made Halo weapons in there, which was very nice. Here we go.
Santa, you have been accused of the murder of a 14-year-old. How do you plead?
Innocent, Your Honor. It was self-defense. All that angst and that weird smell that he gave off. What was I supposed to do? I was in fear for my life.
Good enough for me. You're free to go.
Damn, that's one of the most crook trials I've ever seen. But I guess Santa's in charge of the whole North Pole, so he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, I actually forgot how that ended.
Yeah, I thought I'd get this one up as well.
Oh yeah, you might get copyright strike.
Oh,
But
oh. I'll keep that off then. Thanks for the warning. Did it? Did he get?
yeah, it got copyright strike, I think.
Did you repeal the claim though? Because there's nothing in the description saying like.
Yeah, I think it's because I can't monetize my videos anyway, so it wouldn't probably
Oh,
do it.
okay.
But yeah, I originally had like 5 different shots, like different. I thought like, well, if I'm gonna, I don't want it to look lazy, but I also know that it's only like the one movement going back and forth. So I thought I want to get a good few angles in,
Yeah.
and then when I actually went to look at the footage back of the different angles, there were only 3 that were usable. So
Oh,
and yeah, those are the ones that are in the video.
fair enough. But yeah, I wanted to bring up something that you mentioned earlier, though. The how some YouTubers, they try and branch off into other stuff. M&R Productions. I haven't watched him much in recent times because I'm not really as interested in Lego as I used to be. But I remember at one point he was trying to do like Minecraft videos because Tommy and it was getting really big, and the Minecraft videos are becoming really popular again. And I just feel like that was such a bad decision. It completely failed for him. But like views wise, if he enjoys doing that stuff, then great. But on his old podcast, the I think it was called the Bad Bricks podcast with him and Republic Bricks Timmy. He sadly got rid of it. I thought it was an amazing pod, bro, but he got rid of it. Basically, like he said to Timmy, "Oh, I want I want like good." I want to take advantage of stuff. I want to be able to just do what I want to do and not have to upload many videos. But it's like, man, you're one of the best Lego YouTubers going, and like everyone is copying what you're doing. All the other like the Ash and Flashes, the who's that other guy? The bloke with the frizzy hair and the glasses, just too good. All those sort of YouTubers. Obviously, there are some that don't copy him, like MGF Customs and Solid Brick Studios, but a lot of them, like those Lego discussion YouTubers who spam out a lot of videos, they're sort of copying his thumbnails and copying what he does, which there's nothing wrong with that because a lot of them bring their own takes to it and have their own unique personalities and stuff. But the thing is, like Lego videos, discussing Lego and discussing new sets and news and all that, it's what he's good at. So I don't see why you want to try and branch out and do like 10-minute style videos. I guess maybe he's just thinking to himself, "Oh man, I can just roll off into the sunset easier." But like, he's done really well views wise. He got 232 million views. He's probably on some decent money. You should just sort of focus on what you're good at mostly, and then focus on like if you want to do Minecraft videos, focus on it on the side. But like Timmy was saying to me, if you just went ballistic with YouTube videos, you could ride off into the sunset, which I think that isn't the best mentality to have because you could easily like get burnt out. But
Yeah,
M&R, I think he's just try to tell M&R, like, look, man, if you really want to ride off into the sunset, stick with what you're doing. But there was this one really bizarre clip when, what was he saying now? I got it saved somewhere. I think I sent it to one of my mates ages ago, and he's like, the thing is, if you come to California, we get you a Cali girl, a nice Christian girl. She's making you breakfast. She's got your lunch. She's even got your dinner. And all you got to do is make videos and make content. And I'm like, why is Timmy inserting himself in like Ryan's life? It's quite. I'll see if I can find the clip. It's quite funny, to be fair. It's just really, yeah. I guess Timmy, if you've got a friend, some people if they've got a friend who's like famous, they might be wanting to sort of they're trying to give him genuine advice, or they're trying to hop onto the old clout train and see if they can get a bit of the moolah, I guess.
oh yeah,
In a sense. Another thing I was going to bring up as well, obviously Forest Fire saying that brick filming isn't really feasible for him anymore, and that's a good point because he makes insane production brick films, and yeah, like it's hard to make videos like those and then make profit off of them. But one YouTuber, man, who's pretty much made Well, I mean, it technically is brick filming and YouTube being a YouTuber. I'll just get him up now. He's managed to make a living out of it. So I always like to celebrate when brick filmers can make a living out of YouTube. But boom, there we go. The Jummy film with his
Oh
well,
yeah, yeah,
these type of videos have done very well for him.
yeah.
So
I think the new format he's been doing is quite cool with like intertwining brick filming with commentary a little bit, and like mixing the behind the scenes and the brick filming into the one kind of video. It's quite cool.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, the thing is, if you look at the sort of views he was getting before, it was like, not really that many, like in the thousands. But now he's raking it in, and fair play to the lad. Because
Yeah, yeah,
the smartest way to do stuff, really. He's got subtitles everywhere. He's got that like satisfying keyframe on each subtitle, which takes a lot of time to do. And there's pretty much an edit like every second. Like there's a lot of camera movement and keyframing. And you've got that cheeky effect that Mr. Beast uses. The what is it? The
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's well edited. It definitely like keeps your attention for a good while.
Let's begin animating.
Mhm.
All right, I'll be starting off with
You must be
making
working on
bounce
some big
around.
bad boy
Normally, a
videos.
brick
Oh,
builder
wait,
should
no.
drop
I
to the
thought
ground.
there was subtitles
I
at
want
every
to
bit,
animate
but
it
there
like
isn't.
a rubber ball
I was going to say that'd be a
bouncing
bloody ball out
around. So
to
incorporate some stretching
have subtitles for
to
everything.
give the animation some life and
Oh,
depth.
yeah.
Yeah.
I made a bunch
Very,
of different animations.
very nice,
Beginning with
very
one where I
nice.
just drop the brick and it bounces up and down.
So as you say, it's sort of like mixing. This is the
Notice
brick
how I
film
switch the brick
aspect.
with a longer brick when it's
Obviously, a
moving,
lot of
give
it
the
is just,
illusion of speed.
fast-paced
Then I did
editing
one
behind the
backflip against the
scenes.
edge of the screen to make it bounce around just like the DVD logo.
The thing is,
I love it.
that's what YouTube promotes.
Yeah,
A lot of people complain like, "Oh, YouTube don't promote my content." I'm not being like a shrill for YouTube or anything, but like YouTube do promote people's content. It's just down to how long they promote it for and who clicks on it.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if you actually go onto YouTube Studio, if you click analytics, I'm sure you know this, but I'm just saying for the viewer's sake.
Oh yeah,
And you see, basically, you get to the point where it says the impressions that basically each impression is a share that YouTube's given it. So, like, a video could have 11,000. Well, usually the impressions stop if the video doesn't do well, but most videos get a few hundred impressions, to be honest with you. So, YouTube do promote people's videos. It just depends, like, how successful that video is from the impressions, like the few hundred impressions there are. And if people click on the video and it does better and better, then, it gets more views and there's more impressions.
yeah, yeah. I heard recently though. I saw a video that was quite interesting. That was like YouTube's kind of changing how it's recommending videos now or something. Like the algorithm has kind of changed a bit. I can't remember exactly what was kind of said in the video, but it's basically like saying that YouTube is for some reason now showing like random videos to people who might not even be interested in the content for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think they were kind of saying like shorts can play a big part in as to why that might be happening. But yeah, I myself have never really experienced issues with like getting recommended videos I'm not really interested in or anything.
I mean, I won't lie. The things that do get views on YouTube, a lot of it is not all of it, but a fair bit of it is shite. Like SS Snipe Wolf getting all the views in the world. It's a bit of a joke, really. The funny thing is, have you seen much of the drama around her or not?
I haven't seen any drama, no, but I have an idea of the kind of stuff that she makes. Yeah.
Basically, never credits the TikTok creators. They always edit out the TikTok watermark. As well, like you can predict everything she says, man. It's this bloke even did a bingo list of like things that Snipe Wolf does because it's so repetitive, and she isn't even actually reacting to things. She's basically got a script wrote down where she says things to videos, and the editors edit those videos over the top of it, so that reactions are unauthentic, because you can see in her reflection that there's no footage. It's just a blank white screen, which is pretty weird. It's just like soulless factory content. And I understand YouTubers doing that to a point, once you've got a few million in the bank, you know, well, actually, no, once you've got enough that you need to live on, that's great. But then after that, in my opinion, you should start making decent content, not just chasing the views. You should start putting more effort in, because once you got enough money to live off of, that you can just put your feet up and not have to do much. Now it's time to start making good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think once, like, financially you're grand, then just make what you want to make. Don't spend time trying to find, like, cheat codes to being as lazy as possible with your videos and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think some YouTubers and streamers, man, I think they worry too much about like views at times, because like I don't know, it's like streamers being like the Fortnite streamers who are like, oh, I don't want to play any other game because I could lose views, and that's why I'm doing streams 12 hours a day. It's like, come on, you've got multiple millions in the bank. Like, I'm not trying to be rude, maybe there, because my manager actually had an interesting discussion with me a few months ago, because I was telling him like about how I was talking to this finance bloke who came to work at the company, and he said, yes, I used to be on like 70 to 90k. He didn't just say that out of nowhere. It was like part of the discussion, like it led to that. And then I worked that out after tax, and it's like 4,700 odd every month after tax. And like that amount is unfathomable, you know, like it's really just like mad to me, like £4,000, 4,700 a month after tax. That's just an insane amount. But my gaffer was saying to me, he's like, yeah, it is pretty mad. But when you're on that sort of money, your lifestyle changes. You're going to, you know, buy a decent size house. You're going to buy a decent car. I mean, I want to buy a decent house, but I could care less about buying the latest, best car. All I want is a reliable car. I mean, you know, touch wood, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but like the car I've got currently, it didn't really cost too much. And touch wood, you know, it's been pretty good for me overall. While there's people who are spending a house worth on a car, yeah, it breaks down, you know. So if I just bought a normal car, you know, they wouldn't be breaking down. Well, there'd be less chance they might not break down, or they might not feel as bad if their car did break down after spending a house worth on a bloody sports car, you know.
Yeah.
I think with that thing that my gaffer was saying, though, I think it's just down to the person. I think there probably are people out there who make a lot of money but choose to just live a fairly normal life rather than going like mad with the money. Like Callum's Corner, for example, he's on pretty decent cash, but he just lives in a moderately big house on the Isle of Wight. It's not like he's trying to aim for some big mansion or like the best flat in wherever. You know, he's just living a moderate life. But I think it's because he's actually been in the real world. Like he's worked before he did YouTube as a job, and I think he does actually. Yeah, he does work part time now. He worked full time, then did YouTube as a job, then he worked part time. So at the end of the day, it's like he's used to being out there. While these YouTubers, I feel like and streamers, maybe they've been in the sphere for so long that they might think, oh, I don't want to go and work at Tesco. I've never worked at Tesco before, you know. So maybe they're like worried about losing that life. But at the end of the day, if you've got millions saved up, you just got to be sensible with it, you know. Like I'm pretty sure majority of people could survive on like 3 million, you know. Like if they're sensible, you don't have to go big. I know Mike Tyson used to spend like 7 million on a weekend, but that's because he was irresponsible, you know.
Yeah, like once you have that kind of stability of like a house that doesn't necessarily have to be like a mansion, just like having a house and a car that works and everything. Like once you have that, I feel like unless it's like always been your dream to own like a sports car or whatever, you don't really need to indulge in that kind of stuff just for the sake of like keeping up appearances.
Yeah. I think you made a good point there. If it's personally for you and that's what you really want badly, if you really want a Porsche or really want an Aston Martin, you work your ass off. If that's what means a lot to you, then go for it, you know. But if you're just doing it to be like, oh, look at me, I'm this, that, the other, blah blah blah, because I have a good car, it's like it's each to their own. But like it's sort of like a waste of money for them. And if it breaks down or something goes wrong with it, they're gonna have to spend a load. This dude at work who's in his 40s was actually telling me about how a lot of like not everyone in cities, but he said from his experience, some people in cities, they're like, well, I'm never going back to driving a Honda Jazz from 2005 again. No, I'm sticking with my 2017 BMW. I don't care how much it costs. I'm not going back to driving that car. But I guess that's with how manic some cities are. I guess that's just how some people are. But I think that's a really unhealthy way to be because it eats out your wallet too much. And I think I don't think anymore. If someone was driving a pink Nissan Cube and I don't know, like a black BMW X5 or whatever, I wouldn't think any more or less of either person. I just think the Nissan Cube person's got some interesting wheels. I'm not on about like the pinkness of the Nissan Cube. It's just an odd like I don't mind if people drive pink cars, but a Nissan Cube looks a bit odd. But each their own in it. Like if I don't think any more or less of the person for driving what they're driving. It's about the person inside the car.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Nissan
sure.
Cube looks like something you find out in a GTA game.
I've never actually seen one before, but
I'll get it up for you. It's a really weird looking car.
all right.
Like if it was a choice between this and
Yeah.
it never broke down, or a choice of like a car that looks better but might break down, I'd go for this any day.
Yeah. They're quite cool though. I do like the boxiness. Oh, sorry about the dogs.
Each to their own, and I guess it's because when I'm driving, I don't see boxy looking cars. They're always a bit like they've always got curvature to them. So when a boxy car does come along, it's like, well, what the hell's this? So I suppose it's just what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about the dogs.
I was going to say though, obviously another thing I wanted to bring up about brick filming, good old Ed Bound. On his Goblin video, man, he'd been working on that for months and months and months. It ends up, I mean, it 81,000 views is pretty decent, but like when you've sunk 9 months of time into it and brick filming's your job, it's a bit sad, really.
Yeah.
Then again, sorry, go on.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, like, I suppose he's still got a lot of videos that have done well, but when YouTube's your livelihood, when that's what pays the bills, it's sort of like it's a bit of a shame when a video you put so much effort into, a 10-minute long brick film that's really well done, only gets like 81,000 views. And obviously I know I always say, oh, well, YouTubers could easily go and work in Tesco, but that type of content's very grueling, like brick filming. Like it's not like you're just reacting to videos and going, wee, it's like you're pouring your heart and soul, like there's a movement. Even though I don't brick film anymore, I still appreciate the effort it takes. Like another picture, another picture, another picture, another picture, another picture, another picture,
Yeah.
Grueling.
Yeah, like it can be frustrating to have an expectation too of like, because I put the effort in, I get this big reward when I upload it, and then not seeing that kind of, at least for me anyway, I get that sometimes where like, I know when I made my first like super long, well not super long, but like long for a brick film, like 7 minutes or 6 minutes, that was like my longest brick film that I'd made, and I'd spent like 5 months animating and like a few months before that planning, and spent like money on voice actors and everything. And I felt like, oh, because I put the effort in, it's gonna do well, but then that's not the reality really. So but that was quite a while ago. I think that was like 3 years ago now. But yeah, I guess since I've just kind of tried to realize the scope to which, like, if a video gets like a few hundred views, like that's success for me because I'm still a small channel. Like, so whereas before I would have had a different kind of outlook on things, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry about that, for sure. I mean, small creator, there's big creators who like I guess it might look a bit odd, like I don't know, Captain Sparkles for an example. he's like getting, and Sky does Minecraft, those old YouTubers, they've got like millions and millions of subs, yet they're only getting, 50,000, 100,000, 300,000. I guess sometimes he gets views here and there, but it's nothing compared to what he used to get. But it's partly because he hasn't adapted. And to be fair, though, if this is what he wants to make, even if it's not getting as many views, fair play. You've got to do what you want to do. He's got millions to live off of. So if that's what he wants to do, then fair play to the lad.
Yeah.
There is some clickbaity stuff though. Like there's Fallen Kingdom 2, which is a bit weird. Like, I might actually click on that video quickly. I know I'm going on a complete tangent. Did you ever? The Fallen Kingdom is like the parody of Vida La Vida.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Viva La Vida, sorry. Which was an absolute banger video back in the day.
yeah.
Brilliant and ahead of its time animation.
Oh
wait,
for sure.
what the hell is this Vida La Vida 2? Oh, it's just a weird troll. Oh, it is clickbait. Oh, for God's sake. It's just a troll version of his song.
Right, yeah.
Well, it's an a cappella version. I'll just get it up quickly. It's the exact same. I mean, he's got millions, so it must be either that he spent too much money or he's just desperate for views. He's just
Yeah, it could be like the fact that the first one has so much like hype behind it that using it for clickbait is a pretty easy out when you might not be getting views doing your normal stuff.
How good is this for like 2011 animation though?
Yeah, it's quite good. It reminds me of Element Animation. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh, bro. They're legends of the game. I haven't watched them for years, but they're absolute legends of the game.
Yeah.
All the Villager Bants and Villager News, they're absolute. And the When I Wake Up, the parody of I Would Walk 500 Miles. Oh, man, they haven't done anything in like months. Oh, but I guess those sort of animations take ages to do.
Yeah, I think in a recent, well, not too recent, but like I think it was maybe 6 months or more ago, they put up a video like analyzing their old stuff and talking about how they were working on. I guess they work on like animations for other companies and stuff.
Oh, okay. Fair play to him.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the lake enchanted? I trip, a devotion, and into the lake! The citizen has volunteered to swim to the bottom of the lake and pull out the plug. Send in the dollar-dollars.
I mean, that one's quite grand, but I prefer these, just the simple mental ones.
Yeah, simpler times.
Does my mustache look alright? Okay.
10 years? Damn!
Breaking news! A rogue citizen has been caught committing a terrible crime. Villager number 9 is on the scene. Thank you, Villager number 4. I'm standing where the incident took
Bro,
place.
nostalgia, man.
We have footage of
Yeah.
the event, camera mounted on that roof. Hello. It was just a normal day in the village until villager number 14 showed his complete distaste for our laws. Stop! You violated the law!
Only this was in the
Stop
UK.
right there, criminal scum! This was quickly followed by a high-speed chase caught on camera by a local traffic helicopter. It looks like quite a situation down there. Let him go. He's running. Are they gonna catch him? We don't know. Oh, he's running. He's still running. Oh, he in trouble now. The police are everywhere. Are you seeing this? No. I'm a helicopter. Stop! No. Oh, he said no.
The villager's way of running is just like really slow leg movements. Can't be man, some good back in the day animation. I
Yeah.
prefer those sort of things to like some of the. I mean, I do like a bit of Mad Only NG humor, but I don't know. I prefer just simple humor nowadays than edgy mad humor.
Yeah, I feel like the more simple stuff was like much more rewarded back in like 2013, kind of that kind of era of YouTube as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess there was less content and there was less emphasis on just reacting to TikToks all the time, you know.
Yeah, and like the going back to like holding people's attention for as long as you can by doing whatever you can to keep people's attention. It wasn't really like a thought that people would have had, I guess.
Mm-hmm. True. But yeah, another thing I was going to ask though, what YouTubers are you watching nowadays?
Mainly podcasts, I guess. I don't know. Have you heard of TMG, the TMG podcast?
Nah.
Oh, right. It's a comedy type podcast with Cody Ko. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's like a commentary kind of reaction YouTuber.
I just looked them up, but no, I can't say I've ever heard of them to be honest.
Oh, right.
Podcasts are pretty lit though, from the thumbnails.
Yeah, it's pretty pretty funny. Yeah, so I mainly watch a lot of podcasts and then I guess listen to a lot of music as well. So I don't really spend as much time on YouTube as I would have because I'm just on Spotify instead, I guess.
Yeah. Have you listened to much Kinorama on Spotify?
A couple episodes, but I haven't seen a lot of the movies that would have been talked about. So,
Fair
I
enough.
yeah.
I mean, it's been like a bloody million years since the last episode, so yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's just it's difficult to get like 4 people together who one of them has a mad different time frame to the like, you know, is in me being in the UK and the other people, obviously Ed Bound, Trenton, and Carl being Ed and Trenton being in Canada and Carl being in the States. You know, it's yeah, it's just a bit it's difficult to get everyone on there at the same time. But I've said to them before, I don't mind not being on a podcast. It's whatever really. It's life. So
Right. Are you like a member of the podcast then, or?
yeah, I'd say so. Yeah,
Oh,
like I've
cool.
been on
Cool.
quite a few episodes. So yeah, I'd say I'm a member. Yeah.
Nice.
Because that's sort of why I haven't bothered. To be fair, guests are a bit of a struggle with podcasts. Obviously, you've been able to come, which is great, and you know, Gampats gets on a podcast when he says he will. But a lot of the time, getting guests on, it's just a bit difficult, really. I don't mean Ed Bound in particular. Like, I haven't asked him to come on one for a while because doing the Kino Ron with him, that's doing a podcast with him and having a laugh, so it's pretty cool. But like other guests and stuff, it's just, I don't know, it's just like people say they'll come on and they won't come on, or people don't respond to you, or they say they'll come on, then you ask them again, oh, you see you're still up for coming on, then they don't respond to you. I just wish people would just say no, or think about it and then say no. You know, I just don't get why people just can't be more straight up. If someone asked me to come on a podcast, I'd just say I'm not interested, thank you. You know, if I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Sorry, what?
I was going to say, I get why people are skeptical because, you know, you don't know what someone's going to ask you. You might want to watch their podcast first, which is the wise thing to do. Like George, he was asked to go on a podcast. And I said, they haven't even done any episodes, mate. This is very dodgy. And he went on and I watched a bit of the stream. And it was just absolute twat nonsense. The host of the podcast was just being really sarky with George and being a bit of a bell end and being pretty mean to his co-host as well. Yeah, I don't like talking bad about other small creators when I guess what I was going to say when what they've done isn't publicised, but what he's done is on the podcast. If you ever want to watch that one, I'll send it to you. But basically, George was a guest on a podcast, and the host was just being really stark and being a complete idiot to him, basically, and giving off shit vibes. So if I was George, I would have left. I would have just left that podcast, man. That's why you got to be careful. I said to him, only one episode. This is dodgy, man. I'm not going on it.
Yeah, like I remember I used to when I originally started my own podcast, I was trying to get guests through Discord, and it can be a bit sketchy because there was one time where I had to well, I guess I didn't really kick off the person, but they were just a bit very rude, I guess. um, I think I told you about it at the time, but
Yeah.
yeah, there is just a bit of a. You can get a few oddballs sometimes when you try and like get guests from like a very general community. But most of the people that I've spoken to have been pretty genuine about like having an actual interesting conversation and like wanting to chat as well. So
Yeah, I mean, most of your podcasts have been pretty legendary, to be honest. And as you say, a lot of the guests have been very open to talk about their interests and they've articulated themselves very well. Yeah, so that at least it's mostly been successful with guests for you. But out of interest, if for guests now, I think you mentioned Forest Fire ages ago, but are there many guests that you'd aim to get back on the Nothing But Bricks when you get back into it?
yeah, I was thinking about that recently. Like, I guess yourself anyway would be cool if you're up for it
Yeah,
at some
100%.
stage. Cool. Yeah, I guess getting all the previous guests, or as many as I can, of like previous guests on, and kind of checking in and seeing what's changed since they've been on, and like how their perspectives on Lego and brick filming has changed over the years since they would have been on. I think that might be quite interesting to look at.
Yeah, and I guess you can potentially ask about how their content's changed and stuff, and like Club Brick, for example, the people who got on from Club Brick, John and Goat, their content is considerably different to how it was a few years ago, to be fair.
Yeah.
Which it depends what people like, really. Like the Asga project was amazing. I do prefer again, I'm not really into watching Lego content too much anymore, but the old videos I did, Looney Tunes review, Luigi Confirm, Lego Street Football. Have you ever caused another toilet paper shortage? I can't remember what happens in that one. The Tim Hortons Lego ideas, but that was originally on someone else's channel. Unbelievable. Like top 10s and top 11s are great. Not trying to suck up to myself, but I think my videos are pretty damn good. Nothing amazing. Nowhere near as great as Goat's videos, but I think they were good additions to the Club Brick library. But like when you've just got little just like small, if these are videos where it's just like Lego Space Patroller Mock free instructions, like I guess they're all right, but I prefer like in-depth discussions, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I guess a lot of the other guests you'd have on were brick filmers, so I suppose you'd imagine that, well, this sort of content, when you're making like Lego videos, just talking about Lego, this video is pretty cool, actually. I really like that one. But these sort of ones, I guess they're nice for builders, but these sort of things really don't appeal to me. Yeah, the thing is, when you're doing this sort of content, you have to adapt and try and make like stuff that you think will get views, I guess. It's hard to know what direction to go in and how to improve. But with brick filmers, the way they're going to improve is by making that animation better, the videos better. Maybe they'd do a brick film about, I don't know, like the latest TV show that's out or something, or the latest film, maybe, to get the views in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely interesting to see how like channels can change over time, whether it be like in response to like the higher demand for like what we were saying earlier with like YouTube changing its kind of like the viewer retention and stuff like that, or if it's like just genuine passion that they lost or have gained more of. I think it would be an interesting conversation to have with a good few different people.
Yeah, I guess with a lot of the brick filmers as well, a lot of them obviously, you know, they're not doing it as a job, so they might not have loads to say in there, like in like when it comes to videos that have come out, but when it comes to maybe the specific things they've done, you'd imagine they've probably done loads to improve over like 2 years. You know, like might have brought a new camera or shot things in a different way, or built sets in a different way, or wrote a script in a different way. You know.
Yeah, I think as well. I also learned a lot from speaking with other brick filmers about like different ways of doing things. I think that would be cool too, to just get to speak with them again about like if they've done it differently and if it's actually even better than what they were talking about before that I might have learned to do in my own videos. And so it's kind of I don't know if it's mutually beneficial necessarily, because I guess for like bigger guests like Edbound or like Mind Game Studios, they don't really have much to gain from coming on a smaller podcast, but
Yeah.
I get yeah, I guess I'd like to think it's kind of a mutually beneficial exchange.
hmm
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched it, but on LOTW Studios channel, did you see that podcast where like the start of it was live action? That was
Oh
so.
yeah, That I think that was the one that they were talking about the mouth animations in actually.
Mm. I don't know. I wonder what area that city was. I can't remember if they said where it was or not.
All right, I think it was Germany, but I'm not
It
sure
did look
about.
like yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because it did look like a really nice city. To be fair, so can't remember what bloody video it was now. A part of me thought it might be Cardiff, but yeah, what you were saying is probably correct. Probably was Germany.
Yeah,
Thing
I
is, if
think
a bunch of Rick filmers meet up, they're not going to meet. I'm not knocking Cardiff; it's a great city, but like they're probably going to meet up like somewhere in Denmark, or as you say, Germany, or probably like the Netherlands, or maybe the States, or you know, like London. They're not going to meet up in like Cardiff. I feel maybe they would. I don't know.
yeah, I guess it depends. I suppose like what would be going on that would lead everybody to be in the same place. Like if there's some kind of convention or something going on. Like I think when they met up in Germany, it was for a German brick film festival.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and then I think as well the like Brick World Chicago stuff that Forest Fire, like the videos he did on the convention and stuff. I think that kind of stuff would be quite cool to kind of meet up with other Lego fans and stuff.
Yeah, fair dues. But yeah, I guess we could potentially wrap that one up there then. Have you got
Cool.
anything you want to say? Any questions or any topics?
Not really. Just thanks for having me back on after so long.
No worries, bro. No worries at all. Great that you're back. The triumphant return of the Meh Enthusiast. Actually, there was one last question, actually.
Oh
So do you
yeah.
reckon you might be creating content regularly then and doing streams and stuff again? Or do you reckon it might be like a bit more time before you can get to that stage? Or
Yeah, I guess I'll have to kind of take it by year, and see. Like, I I'm kind of moving rooms at the moment in my house, so I have a lot of my
oh,
stuff
okay.
scattered. So once I have everything back in the right spots, it should be a lot easier to make videos and stuff. But at the moment, it's a bit hectic. But once things kind of settle, I think yeah, it would be easier to make stuff more regularly. I guess I just kind of have to see how that goes. In terms of like energy levels and stuff, like I was
Yeah.
saying. But yeah, hopefully I can make uh, at least like one video a month or something. I don't know.
Sorry about that. But yeah, fair dues, man. I mean, you know, I guess you just got to take it easy and then just see how you feel and then go from there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess like even if it's like not a brick film or a podcast, like the reviews I guess are good. They're fun and they're also like for me to make, but they're also good to put out in between videos just to tell people like I'm still making stuff, just not as frequently as I used to. But I would like to get back to making stuff frequently if I can. So as soon as I'm like, I guess able to, it'll definitely reflect with the amount of videos coming out on the channel. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we'll end that one there then. That's all I got to say for today. Sean, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
No worries. All the best, everyone. Peace.
See ya.